So, how can reaching for spirit, reaching for the light, how can this lead to the destruction of all life? It's quite a big statement to make in a way, but actually through my explorations and journey, and I see it time and time again. I see it in the duality. I see it in the way we get hooked into the light and the dark, the good and the bad. Um, and it's really flipping tough. Christianity did it with the witch burnings. Christianity did it with the, if God the Father is the light, then everything that isn't the light must be the devil. This is what I'm talking about. And it's so easy to slip into it. I was watching a video, an esoteric video. It was beautiful, beautiful. And it's talking about a lot of the stuff I've studied for the last 30 years. One of them being the cyclical flow of existence, the four seasons, the solar year, the and I often talk about this pattern which is the breath, the heartbeat, the breathing into fullness, breathing out to emptiness, the cyclical year from winter to summer to winter again, the life, death, life cycle of existence that we are all within. Now, the dark is often given a bad rap. It's often the bad, the limiting, because the darkness is in the dance of the light and the dark, in the play, existence could not exist. Okay, if you just want the light, I've been there, I've experienced it. It's like absolute, pure, radiant crown chakra bliss orgasm. It's amazing, but it's actually kind of boring as well because there is no other. There is only it, just radiant it, continuously, eternally, forever. Nothing to compare, no relative, no other, no love. And when I met it, I knew it wasn't God that I was looking for because there was no love. And I could very much imagine how meditating men throughout history would get to this crowning point of illumination and think that was what they were looking for, the dissolution back into spirit, the dissolution back into the light. This is what we're led to believe is the end of the goal, and I disagree. I feel that true awakening, true liberation comes in the heart, the midpoint between the light and the dark, and where we can hold both. We can hold both in balance. And this is the great work, to be able to hold both in balance, to be able to be in form, whether that's a physical body due to the compression of the light and the dark, or the way the darkness can compress the light. Okay, so another duality that we come across is oxygen and carbon, or these are another pair that I've paired up. So oxygen assimilates with the light, carbon assimilates with the dark. Both are essential. We are carbon-based beings, okay? So again, the polarities, light, dark, good, bad, male, female, carbon, oxygen. So many dualities, you can just keep going. So the masculine or the light. And when I talk about masculine and feminine, please don't take it as a gender issue. Okay? We as whole beings contain both. A physiological, a female-bodied person could have loads of female or less female. She may have loads of masculine or less masculine. Again, our hormonal systems very much decide where we are on the spectrum. Okay, so a woman or a female-bodied person can completely undertake masculine energy jobs, and a masculine-bodied person can completely embrace the nurturing and the family and the village and all of the feminine roles. So please don't think I'm talking about gender issues. I'm just using these terminologies to describe a pattern and a map. Okay, so when I say masculine, pure masculine, I'm talking about pure light, not men. When I'm talking about pure feminine, I'm talking about the matter, the matrix, the mother. Okay, and not women. Although a generalization here, most or an amount of women hold more of the feminine energies within their being. Their hormonal system is set up to have more of the feminine things like estrogen. It's the accommodation. This is why women will always put, well, not will always actually, but biologically women are hardwired to put the children and the village as a priority and often over themselves. This is why this is why women accommodate, or the feminine is all about the whole, the all, the village, all of creation. Whereas the masculine, don't take offense, men, please, the masculine is in its fullest form pure light, pure radiance, and there is only it. So there's only it, there's no other. And often, how to say this, I don't want to offend anyone, but a man that's strong in his masculine, that hasn't done much inner work, is often, or somebody that's still, or a child, all children do this actually, but the immature masculine in its expression is often, what about me? What about me? You rarely have women saying, what about me? Because generally they don't think of life as being about them. Their biological programming is for the village, it's for the whole. Whereas a masculine biological programming is procreation. It's to support and protect and to create. So I'm getting off track, and I don't want to piss anybody off here, because remember, please, these are just generalizations. A fully beautifully balanced masculine or male in a male body, and a fully balanced female in a female body has got both of these energies in harmonic coherence. Okay, they're able to work with both of them. But what I wanted to come to is, why does chasing the light create the destruction of life? So coming back to this masculine feminine thing, not men, women, masculine, feminine. The masculine associated with the light, with agency, with creation. You could see it as being like a light, a torch that shines on what it's looking at. So it knows what it's looking at. It can see where it's going. It can see all around it. It knows what it has to do. It's very about, it just is. It knows. It's on track. That's what it does. So the feminine as an energy is the darkness. And if you compare being in a lit up room with a plan of action, with a map, with a torch, or a lit up place in the daytime, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, all of that. The feminine could be more described as, it's dark. You don't have a torch. You don't know where you are. You don't know where you're going. You're not even sure what you're meant to be doing. This isn't a comment on females. This is the energy of the feminine. It's pure dark, the dark mother, the great mother. And it's the matrix. So as the light arises into form, do you notice the, sorry about that, into form, the matrix is the sheath that gives the spirit body. Okay, and throughout all of creation, from the highest, most celestial realms that aren't in physical form, but they're in energetic form. They're in a higher frequency where there is less darkness. There is less darkness, but there's a coherence and a balance throughout this pattern. We're in a realm where there's a lot of darkness. And so the physical is very demanding. We have physical bodies, we have to house, we have to feed. And there are some beings that have created an entire construct that keeps us almost trapped in just maintaining the physical needs of our bodies, and all the dramas that it brings up once we have children, and then we have these other little beautiful bodies that we have to look after and house and feed. Hence the various different terminologies that we have for this. So the reason why I get worried when I watch things like I watched last night, or I don't get worried, but I get little red flags going off, because we can get to the patriarchy was built on certainty, and it was built on a certainty of taking apart the material. Okay, like, it's interesting that the patriarchal culture and the modern culture has very much been built upon a certainty of the materialism of nature, it's just cogs, it does this, it does that. We've got to a point now where we realize that's not true, and we've almost destroyed the planet in our ravaging of it, because in the Christian view, matter was evil, so it didn't need respect. You could treat it. And one of the things I heard in the video last night is, matter is dead. And this really created, I had like lots of red flags waving in my inner landscape at that, because matter and spirit arise together. This creation is matter and spirit arising together, but in a place where the density is quite dense. Okay, that there is darkness. And what this process taking place right now is our entire world, our entire realm, and all beings in it moving up a frequency, moving up at, well, a semitone. I have no idea how much, but it's moving up. So the density is a bit less than it was. The darkness doesn't hold so much sway. Now, when we're talking about these things, we end up in this language where the dark is often associated with difficult things. And I'll admit that shadow work, the things that are hidden in our darkness, aspects of ourself, aspects of our being that we cannot see. We can't see, they're in the blind spot. So the darkness can often mean unpleasant things. And if you akin the fact that the darkness is what makes form, and if you are experiencing pain, the pain is often in the form. It doesn't make the form bad. Okay, so, and this is where the paradox comes in, is it's really hard to have these conversations. It's really hard even to think about it. You have no idea how much trouble I have trying to gather my thoughts into a coherent expression to make these videos, because there is just so much. And if there's anybody out there that interviews people, I would love to be interviewed, because it would be so much easier in an interview format. But the darkness, and so the oxygen and the carbon, okay, the oxygen would be connected to the light, and it's and giving life, and the carbon has been connected to the darkness. And right now we see a war on carbon. Okay, so last time it was the Christian nation waging war on the material, on the physical, and on the feminine, and on the women. And this time it's got a different kind of jacket on. It's a different style jacket, but we're still waging war on carbon. Okay, carbon is essential to life. We are carbon-based beings. Do you see what's happening with the language? Carbon credits. We're having to pay for life. Okay, carbon in the body. Carbon is the thing that actually opens the cell to be able to receive the oxygen. Okay, you don't want to kill carbon. It is not bad. It is absolutely essential to life. The light and the darkness rely on each other. And the sad thing is they can never see each other. So in their absolute forms, absolute masculine, absolute feminine, they can never see each other, because when the light turns up, the darkness isn't there. And when the darkness is there, the light isn't there. So the only place that light and dark can be in union is in form. Okay, the light is not the final destination. It's not God. It's just the pure light, the pure masculine, devoid of any darkness. And the darkness is not bad, and it's not hell. And we pass through it every night when we go to sleep. We pass through it every time we shed our bodies and die. You remember the light at the end of the tunnel? The tunnel is dark. Every time I do a deep journey, I have to go through the dark to get there, to get through to the other side. It's not bad at all, but we have to, and it's where the shadows are, and it's where the density is, and it's where the challenge is. So there's work to be done, but we don't do the work by getting rid of the bad. We don't do the work by getting rid of the carbon, getting rid of the darkness, because then all there is light. And spirit hasn't made this entire creation. Well, it's made this entire creation so it isn't alone, so it isn't by itself. So it isn't just radiant crown chakra orgasmic bliss for eternity, which is boring. It really boys very nice for a little while. Not that there's any time there, but actually it's in form, in the forgetfulness, in the fumbling about, in the remembering of itself, that life happens. And that's why this entire spectrum, from the worst possible hell of Yeshe hell realm suffering you can imagine, all the way up to the crowning glory of the highest Buddha realms or heavenly realms, they all have to be there. They all have to be there. So how do we live in balance? So I've been talking about a meditation recently, and I'm at present, I'm not sure if I'm going to release it, because 2 days ago I spent the afternoon trying to record it, and due to other commitments and other relative life things, I ended up with time constraints and other obligations. And I ended up recording it twice. The first time I didn't, it was brilliant, but it wasn't okay because the end I rushed because of this other time obligation I had. So I'm not putting that out. And then the second time I did it, because people have been saying about the mic, I used a mic and it ran out of battery. So it was 40 minutes recording and only the first minute and a half had sound. Great. Also, since I've done it, I've been utterly undone. And this also happened the first time I did it a couple of times. And then a day or two later, things happened within interpersonal relationships that utterly undone me. And it's not, I can't say I've got any real big problems in my life, but it's just relational stuff around me. I've just been um, moved to a place of deep sadness and deep grief. And I've spent a lot of time, a lot of time working through all that stuff that's hidden in the darkness. So, doing this meditation, anchoring in the new light codes, is great, but it will demand that any of the stuff that's left in your shadow that isn't being brought into coherence will be swiftly dragged into coherence. Well, it won't be in coherence for a while. It will be dragged into the light of awareness, and that can be a very painful process. So, if I do release the video or if I do remake it, it will be with a warning that if you're not feeling really resourced, if you're not feeling really centered and balanced in your life at this time, I don't think I would advise doing it because it's, and this is what's happening in the world. This is why in the world it's all getting really challenging and there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of conflict because as the frequency raises, it demands that we bring those unseen aspects out of the darkness and bring them into the light to be self-liberated, to be brought into a coherence, to find coherence through them, to correct them, to tidy our rooms. Um, it's very, everyone thinks the spirit, you can be spiritual and leave the physical behind. No, no, you can't. We have to get the physical completely in order, or what remains of the physical. We have to bring it into coherence. If we want to raise the frequency, if we want to move, if we want to continue traveling into this more harmonic vibration in the heart center, we have to get the physical in order. Our root chakra survival, our sexual chakra, our sex, our creation, our solar plexus, our power. We need to get all of these dynamics in harmony and balance, not in shadow anymore, not in the darkness. And I do use that word dualistically because it's the language we've got. And creation is a massive paradox that you will never really be able to grasp it with your mind. And this is what I see in the patriarchy. This is what I see in the colonized behavior that we are all seeped in. Okay, when difficult things arise, I just had it with a really challenging situation in a group I'm in. And I really wanted to understand what I could do. I wanted to understand it so I could make it right, so I could fix it. This is all agency thinking. This is all light thinking. And it's not that it's wrong, but actually, the medicine for me was to just feel it, to just let grief have its way with me, to just allow my heart to be broken. And this is what I'm having to do again and again. There are some things that we simply can't fix. There are some things that we just have to, like the past. We can't fix the past. And a lot of horrible shit has happened in the past. I've done stupid shit. You've probably done stupid shit. We've all made huge mistakes because we haven't seen things clearly. We've been coming from a place of misunderstanding and ignorance. And in doing that, we've created a whole mess, which we will have to clear up and tidy up and make good. But again, it doesn't happen through being in agency, through being in this thinking of light and good and righteousness. That's another nasty word, righteousness. A lot of people have died, murdered, been genocided in the name of righteousness. We really need to be careful when we think we're right, when we think we've got it right. And I suffer from this as well. I'm really attached to being right. I love being right. But we've got to be really aware of what's going on within us. Okay, there is a desire to get it right. Of course, we all want to get it right. We all want to create a beautiful future for our children and our children's children and the future generations. But I don't know that we get this through wronging others, through judging others or ourselves or aspects of ourselves. Okay, our history, our past has been really gruesome, and there's a lot of grief, pain, trauma, and sadness around this. So, even mentioning it brings it to me. And I think the only way through this is by feeling it, by allowing it to really have its way with us, because, wow, yeah, because there's a lot. So if you want to do that meditation, just be aware that you might get undone. Um, if I put it together, I don't know that I need to, because we're going to get undone anyway. This process is happening whether we like it or not, and most of us have consented to it to some degree. But it possibly, well, it will be as easy as we make it, really. And it will be as easy as we're able to be in relationship with each other, because the middle point is here in the heart. You've got 3 centers below, 3 physical centers below, and 3 higher centers, again, higher, lower. There we are with this flipping dualistic language, and then the higher centers above. This one, this one, this one. The heart is in the middle, and this for me is where God exists. And I know that to be true because I went all the way up into the light, didn't find what I was looking for, and then through blessings of my teacher, went up, the door opened, and then I came back down, and this was where God revealed itself to me. This place of relationship is where God gets to express and to be with itself, to be in its light and its dark together in union. It's not alone, it's in relationship. And relationship is where the beauty is. Relationship is where it's at. But we've made such a mess of relationship because we've been so cut off. Like I said, the crown and the root were shut. Our energies weren't in the heart, they were in the lower ones, in the solar plexus, largely in this last period of history. And for many of us, it's still in the solar plexus. It hasn't reached the heart. But as a general collective, we have reached the heart. But a lot of people on the earth are still stuck in the habitual behavior of the solar plexus, of duality, of power over or power under. You're either over it or under it in the solar plexus, unless you've brought it into balance and arisen into the heart. And this is what's happening now. You could say this entire process is the duality of power coming into harmony, realizing that we are all of the same. We are all facets of God trying to love itself. But because we've been separated and we haven't realized that, and I'm me and you're you and we're separate, and I think this and you think that, and I've misunderstood what you said and now I'm angry at you. You know, it's just, it's like like a massive mirror maze. Anyway, I suppose I think I've possibly maybe covered what I was trying to say about duality and about paradox and about holding it lightly. This is the only way we can hold things. If we want to grasp it, if we want to be certain, we're going to crush it, we're going to kill it. Okay? Our certainty, our desire for certainty, our reaching and grasping for the light, for the love, for the, well, not the love, for the light, for God, all of this will kill us and it will destroy us. And this is what we've done again and again and again. And this is what we have to do differently. And for the first time, I think we might, because we are arriving in the heart. We are arriving in the heart. The heart is opening, and as hard as it is, as challenging as it is, and as grief-soaked as it is, because the top of the heart is beauty, joy, love. The underneath of the heart is the sadness, okay, and the grief. And you can't have one without the other. You can't be in form, in existence, without dying. And when the things we love die, it brings a great sadness. But soon we'll be able to live from a place where we understand this. And when we understand that there is truly no death, okay, yes, when I die, Yeshe will never happen again. This creation, this form is a one-time event. It's unique. It will never happen again. But the awareness, the mind stream, the innermost heart essence that is flowing through me, that is being forged in love and compassion and understanding, will breathe out, and then it will be breathed back in. And it will be breathed back into a place that will perfectly match the geometry that is here. And it will take another form and another body, and it will be similar and different. And then it will be exposed to different conditions and different people and different reality. And it will form and it will continue to shape and change and be in relationship with other faces of itself on this journey, slowly, slowly, as it ascends back to itself. And eventually it does ascend back to itself. It does dissolve fully into its own light. When we die, we dissolve fully into the light for an eternal moment. And this is often why when we leave the density of form and we experience the beauty, the love that is just outside of all of this shenanigans, we remember. It's not like we've never experienced it before. We remember it every time we die. And we remember it when we have mystical experiences in life. Many people don't get these, but actually a lot of people do. But they're fleeting. The aperture of consciousness opens fully up, and we remember who and what we are. And then, due to the limitations of the realm that we're in, it closes back down again to a functionable amount. And we forget, and the habits come back. And this is okay. This is the way it works. This is how and where we need to be with each other, and just trying our best to be patient, to be loving, to be tolerant. And again, as I always say, when we need to say no, to honor ourselves, to honor what's true for us, we also need to say no. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Thank you.